Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to the second sneak peek for Christmas 2021 from GWV. So here we go, it's time to bring another little sneak peek for Christmas. We did the first one of these a couple of weeks ago. That video has had over 8,000 views, absolutely incredible, blown away by the response to the first sneak peek for Christmas 2021. And yeah, we're going to do it all over again with this one for you in a moment, and there'll probably be one more before the end of October. I do not know when that will be, but just, you know, keep an eye on the channel, and it'll be coming up at some point before the end of a month. This all, of course, ahead of the start of the Christmas Countdown, which this year will be on Tuesday the 2nd of November. The first Christmas update official will be released on Tuesday the 2nd of November, and yeah, it's going to be absolutely great. We'll premiere that, I think, probably around 8-ish in the evening. Look out for all the detail about that, and it's going to be very exciting. Going to be a very exciting countdown to Christmas 2021. But we've got this sneak peek to go, and one more after this as well. So I shall get on with your second Christmas 2021 sneak peek in a moment. Just to say about the first video today was our 7 AM broadcast. We've also released the USA forecast as well as the 10 to 14 day. Check out all of those videos if you would like to do that. Right, should we move over to Wet Central then? Here we go. We're on Wet. We're going to show you, as with the last one, the first sneak peek, Christmas 2021, we're going to show you all 4 CFS V2 runs. We're going to show you the Midnight, the 6Z, the 12Z, and the 18Z from the CFS. So we're going to actually start with the 18Z, because that's the one that's furthest away. This generated at 6 PM in the evening on Monday, the 18th of October. As before, we're going to go from like the 20th of December to the beginning of January. So let's do it then. We're starting here with the CFS V2 18Z for Monday the 20th of December, under an area of high pressure here. We're under an area of high pressure, looking mainly dry and mild. Technically it's mild. Of course, under the high pressure it might be cold from frost and fog. That's the kind of thing that you wouldn't know until it actually happened. But otherwise, it's a mild ridge. It's built up from the south. So at the moment, we're on the mild side of the jet stream, looking basically dry and mild. Right, let's see what it does then. So this is 21st of December. High pressure still in control. 22nd of December. High pressure still there, but it's beginning to weaken as low pressure starts to edge in from off the Atlantic. 23rd of December, the eve of Christmas Eve, is turning wet and windy as high pressure collapses into Eastern Europe. This deep area of low pressure is starting to sweep in from off the Atlantic. Now, this is mild. This is a very mild eve of Christmas Eve, but also quite wet. Christmas Eve itself pushes that low pressure through, turns the wind into the north, so it gets a little bit colder. That might bring a few sort of wintry showers to northern and eastern areas, with the winds tilting into the north. High pressure is building back in from off the Atlantic, though, so that is turning drier, but it is a little bit on the cold side. We go through to Christmas Day on this CFS 18Z run. We've got high pressure dominating over the top of the country, so it's a mainly dry Christmas Day. Probably quite cold for England and Wales with frost and fog, but for Scotland and Northern Ireland, I suppose, it is getting milder as we're picking up more of a westerly wind. So cloud and rain begin to move in from off the Atlantic on Christmas Day. They're mainly dry and cold, frosty perhaps for England and Wales. Boxing Day, high pressure still dominating the weather. This is a milder air mass coming around the top of the high, so I reckon this kind of thing will turn pretty cloudy, pretty claggy, and yeah, will be quite mild, particularly so for Scotland, less so for England and Wales. 27th of December, we'll start to take that high pressure out to our west a little bit. This is going to pull down a northerly wind between Christmas and New Year. Let's see what it does. Yeah, a little bit of a northerly snap coming up here. This is 28th of December. High pressure pulling out into the Atlantic. A deep area of low pressure is starting to sweep southwards in from it all. So that is beginning to bring colder air into Scotland, probably behind a cold front, bringing a band of rain. Oh dear, that cold northerly doesn't last all that long. It very quickly gets shunted off into Scandinavia. There it's very, very cold and snow. We do have people watching from Scandi, so that's the kind of thing that will deliver some real cold and snow to Scandinavia and northeastern Europe. But for us, we do get a bit of a swipe from the north, and then it turns drier again as high pressure topples in from off the Atlantic. Right, moving up towards New Year, this is Thursday, the 30th of December. The low pressure's back in from off the Atlantic, and that's turning milder, wetter, windier once again, on the eve of New Year's Eve. And then the high pressure looking, it's trying to get to Greenland again, so it's quite interesting. We do see this high pressure trying to go to Greenland. New Year's Eve itself is beginning to go colder again, as this low pressure sort of slips away to our east. So I reckon by New Year's Day, we're going to be cold, and indeed we are. That is the first day of 2022, Saturday, 3rd of December. We've got a deep area of low pressure event off the East Anglian coast, and we're pulling in what looks like a pretty cold northeasterly wind. There's the upper air temperatures showing that it's genuinely cold air mass, and would see rain turning increasingly to snow, I would have thought, over the New Year period. So not a particularly cold Christmas, but it does get there in the end. By the New Year, we are properly pulling in that cold northeasterly wind. Again, it's only a brief cold snap, though, the high pressure beginning to slip away to the south once again. Or is it? Maybe it'll go back up to the north again. Yeah, another northerly blast there by the 5th of January. I will not go out any further than that, because we are well beyond Christmas, but quite interesting. CFS 18Z run to start us off. Right, so I'm going to go to there, I think, back to the 20th, and we will move over to the midnight CFS run. So this is it. This is the midnight CFS. So this is what it's showing. Again, we come back to the 20th of December. Please smash the like button, everybody, if you're enjoying this little sneak peek for Christmas. So at the moment, like, the 18Z was relatively mild over Christmas, really, but got a lot colder around the New Year. Let's see what's going to happen with the midnight CFS then. So we do it all over again. Here we go once more. So 20th of December, looks like bring like a trough in from off the Atlantic with this one. So relatively mild and a little bit wet starts off. Low pressure then diving in from the north from the 21st, 22nd of December. That's starting to pull the wind into the north as low pressure begins to slip down north. So it's getting colder before Christmas. That will deliver wintry showers at the very least to our north. Again, looks like it's only a brief cold snap, and the winds are backing into the west for the eve of Christmas Eve. So that's turning. It's still quite cold actually, but it's gradually turning mild. There's a warm front that's pushing across the country there on Christmas Eve. That's Christmas Eve itself, and looking pretty mild. There's a band of rain moving through the country with low pressure around Iceland, so this looks like going to be a proper, genuinely mild Christmas. There's a little bit of a ridge that's extending in from the Atlantic, so that's turning a little bit drier, I think, as we get to Christmas Day after Christmas Eve rain. Again, it's all looking quite mild, though, with this one. That's Boxing Day, and again, this looks very mild. High pressure over France, and we're dragging up like a southwesterly, so that's turning really mild, actually, for Boxing Day, particularly over more northern areas. That's some frost in the south, but nothing particularly cold doing with that whatsoever. And then 27th of December, looking like that, just generally mild, really, with westerly, southwesterly winds, and that continues to 28th of December too. Let's run on up to New Year. So this is going to be a mild throughout type run, I think. This 29th of December, high pressure is over to the south of the country, low pressure to the northwest, so we're in a classic sort of west-southwesterly, looking at generally mild. Mainly dry in the south, could be some frost, I suppose, in the south, but it's a mild air mass overall, right way up to New Year. Low pressure just coming in off the Atlantic, keeping us generally unsettled. So there's no cold weather dealing with the midnight run at all. There was with the 18Z, none with the midnight run. This is mild throughout, and as we go on into the opening days of January, just looking wet and windy. It is raising the heights to the east and the northeast. I will not go any further than that. That's the 6th of January. We're past 12th night. It is raising the heights to our east and northeast. So maybe that would eventually get there. Who knows? But we're beyond the Christmas period now. So that's mild, you know, from start to finish. Through the Christmas period on the midnight run. Okay, let's do it over again then. Have a look at the 6Z. It's exciting, this, isn't it? This is how the 6Z is looking. Now, this one looks much more interesting already. This is Monday, the 20th of December, again. And look at the difference. I'll go back to the midnight run. That's how the midnight run looks. You can see the difference, can't you? That's clearly flat. You know, that's clearly flat and westerly. This 6Z, already as we start off, is looking very, very different. We've got high pressure around Iceland and Greenland. We've got low pressure around the Bay of Biscay. We're bringing in what already looks like quite a cold east or northeast wind. There's the upper air temperatures there for the 20th of December. And it's definitely cold, you know, across particularly northern half of the country. So is this going to deliver us a cold Christmas? Is this the one? Let's have a look and see what happens. I don't know what these are going to show. You know, I'm discovering these with all of you. So let's do it, shall we, and see what 6Z does. Right, so 21st December, we start to push this low pressure up from the south. Now, that's interesting, because that's coming into cold air. So on the leading edge of that, that would bring snow. Of course, it is introducing milder air to the southeast, so rain there. But, you know, anywhere in this green area, that could deliver snow as that low pressure pushes into the cold air. So that might be a little bit of a pre-Christmas snow event there on the 21st of December. What happens after that is 22nd. The low pressure sort of pivots away into the west, so we start to drag in a milder air from the southeast. Although, you know, if there's snow on the ground, it would probably be still pretty cold, although the upper air temperatures are lifting up and becoming less cold. Quite an interesting start anyway. This is the 23rd of December. The eve of Christmas Eve looks like that. Again, we've got low pressure to our west now. High pressure is to the east. Technically, it's a milder air mass, but I reckon this will probably be pretty cold and dank, to be honest, with a gradual fall of lying snow, probably. That's Christmas Eve itself. Again, it's in between, isn't it? We've got a ridge to our east. We've got low pressure to our west. The upper air temperatures have lifted up, but I suspect the surface temperatures are pretty cold. We see the surface temperatures there, 6 AM forecast to be below freezing across many parts of the country. So it's one of those, you know, but looks technically mild, but probably actually quite cold. Pretty dank, maybe foggy, and that sort of thing, and damp. Right, this is Christmas Day, so now we start to drag up that southwesterly. So although we started off looking quite interesting, and definitely cold like before Christmas, we've got to Christmas Day itself, and this is going milder as the winds are pushing in from the southwest. So there'll probably be a band of rain spreading northeastwards, and then the temperature would lift up. That's Boxing Day again, looking mild, drawing up a southwesterly wind across the country. That would bring cloud and rain with it. Then you go through the 27th of December, low pressure transferring eastwards. That's taking rain across the whole country. Again, relatively mild with that. And then we get through the 28th of December. It looks like being low pressure kind of being pulled apart a little bit, kind of being split as this ridge builds up from the southwest. So that's probably turning a little bit drier and a little bit colder. 29th of December, starting to build up a ridge just to our west. Winds are going into the north. In fact, it's starting to get a little bit colder as well. It's going to try and raise the heights, I think, up towards Scandinavia, towards New Year. So this is New Year's Eve. This is Thursday, the 30th of December. Again, with high pressure sort of building to the north of Scotland, there's an area of low pressure across East Anglia. I reckon that's going to have a go at pulling some cold air back in from the east. That's New Year's Eve itself. A little bit blocked. It's a classic Scandi high. It's not a classic Scandi. But we have raised heights a little bit to our northeast. It's a notable wind in from a northeasterly direction. And with low pressure over the low country, we'll probably bring precipitation into the east. What that precipitation is will depend on the air mass. We have got -5 Celsius ice firm through the country there. So it's the kind of thing that could deliver a little bit of snow for New Year's Eve. New Year's Day, the first day of 2022, looking quite blocked. You know, we've got high pressure over and to the east. We are pulling in the wind from the east. The upper air temperatures look quite cold. They're not desperately cold, but they are quite cold. And these areas of low pressure out in the Atlantic are being blocked. So probably quite a cold start to 2022 with that. Let's run on, see what happens. Well, the low pressure starts to get deflected to our south as the high pressure strengthens to the north of Scotland. So into the new year, it looks like it's going to have a go at turning us blocked and colder. So running through the opening days of January, it is quite cold, but we get through to the 4th, 5th of January, and then low pressure is breaking through, bringing wet weather in off the Atlantic. As it comes into the cold air, of course, it might deliver a snow event. But overall, overall it does break that blocking high down, although by the 6th of January we're back into quite cold northerly winds again, and we started to send the jet stream southwards, so that looks like it could be setting up a colder pattern. But by the 8th we're into milder conditions. That's a little bit in between, I think that one is very close to being quite cold for Christmas. Right, I've just got one more to show you, and that will be the 12Z, the CFS V2 12Z. Let's see what this one is going to do. So this again generated 12Z midday 12Z on Tuesday the 19th of October. If you've enjoyed this sneak peek for Christmas 2021, the second sneak peek, then please smash that like button and make sure you sub to the channel. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. You'll be able to see future weather content if you do, including future Christmas updates, of course. Official Christmas Countdown begins on the 2nd of November. Right, let's do it with 12Z then. So again, we'll come back to Monday, the 20th of December. High pressure is away to our south. Low pressure out to northwest. It's also milder, with winds pushing in from a west or southwesterly direction. Turning wet and windy for the 21st through to 22nd of December. All Atlantic driven though. Low pressure piling in from off the Atlantic, bringing spells of wet and windy weather. Eve of Christmas Eve turning quite stormy, with this deepening area of low pressure to the north of Scotland, bringing gale force winds and no doubt heavy rain with it as well. And then that low transfers to Norway, and we're pulling something a little bit colder from the northwest for Christmas Eve. And that will start to deliver wintry showers to the north. It's not particularly cold though down in the south. Into Christmas Day itself, we're into a showering northwesterly, just about getting wind into the north across Scotland, so it could be quite cold Christmas for Scotland, maybe some snow up there. Otherwise, not a particularly cold Christmas doing with that. And yeah, you know, it's one of those, again, it's a little bit in between how to look at the upper air temperatures. So I've got the -5 Celsius into the central and northern part of the country. So the north is cold, the south is mild, is very precipitation with that. So most of the wet weather is away to our southwest. It's just generally cool in the south, mainly dry, but actually quite cold, and kind of wintry showers on Christmas Day up in the north. That's Boxing Day. Again, we're trying to drag in some milder air from the west and from the southwest on Boxing Day. And then we go beyond that into the 27th and the 28th of December. We go milder for a day or so, and then again we start trying to pull in cold air from the north once again. Then high pressure sort of moves in as we head towards the new year. That's within quite a cold air mass, so that will bring, you know, chilly weather with frost and fog. Scandinavia, again, looking quite cold with a big old northerly blast going on there. Let's see what happens after that. So high pressure sort of over country on New Year's Eve, but still everything's coming in from the west. So everything's moving in from the Atlantic. So although this is quite cold for the eve of New Year's Eve, there would be a risk of frost and fog. The high pressure looks like it's slipping as those westerlies come in over top. And so as we get to New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, we are looking significantly milder then. Although down in the south, it could still be frost and fog, but generally, you know, it's a mild ridge with the air coming in off the Atlantic. So a relatively mild start to 2022, except in the south, where there could be some frost and fog. Let's just run on, see what happens again through the opening days of January. So this is trying to raise high pressure over Scandinavia, trying to get Scandinavian high going during the opening days of January. It looks like it's going to set up a little bit of a battleground scenario. So we've got a Scandinavian high trying to build, but low pressure coming in off the Atlantic. It looks like that Scandinavian high is probably going to fail as we go through the first week. But January, yes, it does. And we go back into those milder westerly winds once again. The Scandinavian high attempt is a failure. Right, so that is it. The camera count's already on. Of course, that's it for the second Christmas 2021 sneak peek. Nowhere near as much eye candy on this one as there was with update number 1. But that's it. You know, that's the that's how the cookie crumbles. We have to take what we get with these as they come along. So we had a very, you know, very interesting start with update number 1. This one nowhere near as interesting from a cold perspective, but there are a few little trains in there. Like before Christmas might be a little bit of a cold snap. I think, you know, between two lines that is a trend within CFS probably, and then maybe around the new year actually, although this one ended up with quite a mild new year. I think generally around the new year there might be a little bit of a colder into Christmas to New Year, probably relatively training relatively mild with this one. But again, with such early days, with such early doors with this, it's only a sneak peek. Remember, we're going to start our official Christmas countdown on the 2nd of November. We will do one more sneak peek for you, though, in a week or so's time. I'll let everybody know when we're doing that, so just watch out on the channel, you know, on the community tab, and I'll let everybody know well in advance when the third and final sneak peek for Christmas 2021 will be. But yeah, that's it for this one anyway. So if you have enjoyed your sneak peek for Christmas, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that, and we'll have another Christmas sneak peek for you very, very soon. For this one, though, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.